Hey guys, I'm here with
Joe from the Cigar Host.
Joe's cigar roller, right?
That's right.
He does cigar parties. He does a
Yep.
bunch of other things. I reached out to him on TikTok because I saw him on TikTok. I like this video, so you guys have to make sure that you follow him on TikTok. And we just had a great podcast, and we're gonna have another part two of us
Absolutely.
having a cigar, proper etiquette on cutting a cigar, smoking a cigar, and different cigars and whatever else.
I'll
So,
teach you everything you need to
we
know.
also, of course, got into some entrepreneurial conversation, which is what he's doing, and it's good. You guys should have a listen. All right. So what we normally do is we always start from like how far back you're comfortable with going back. So whether it's usually I try to say what was your first job and how old were you?
Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead.
All right. What was my first job?
If you could think.
Yeah. So, well, when I was little, my father used to own a pizzeria in Morristown, which is a very big, especially upcoming now.
Couldn't tell you were Italian.
Yeah. So restaurants have always been in my family, but it's funny because when I was younger, I was maybe 8, 9 years old, and I would man the counter, and people got a kick out of it, so they thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
So then, fast forward, I always wanted to work. I always wanted to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout high school and stuff, I started working at it was called Party City Rental, which was a party rental place.
Okay.
So we would wash the chairs and the tent and go set up at parties and stuff like that.
Okay.
Which you're making peanuts.
Yeah.
Looking back now, it wasn't.
But now you seem like a schmoozer. Did you get a lot of tips? Like,
Oh yeah.
Of
I'm a
course.
people's person, so I talk to everybody.
So that's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was. And I was there with 2 buddies, so that was a great time.
Okay.
But you learn a lot. You know what I mean? You learn a little bit about the business that you're working for, but then also how to interact with people, which was nice.
Right.
So I always thought, growing up, and I've always been told that I was always a little bit more mature and a little bit more advanced when it came to having connections with people.
Right.
And I really do think that it was stemmed from me being younger, working a counter, interacting with people that were walking up. They're like, why is a 9-year-old taking my order?
Right.
Right?
So you're around a lot of adults at a younger age.
Exactly.
So you know how to carry yourself and present yourself.
Right. And I think that's huge, especially, being a father. I want my kids to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something, ask for it. Be respectful and say thank you and please, and so.
It's all like those little fundamentals, like I say, like that's like the secret sauce. Like those
100%.
little 3 things: please, thank you, have respect, look people in the eye and shake your hand. Like,
Yeah.
it's that easy. So,
Yeah.
So now you're in high school. You're doing that on the weekends. You're doing it like after work or
So-
more summertime kind of.
Yeah, mostly summer. I was a big sports guy, so I definitely was involved in sports and stuff. And then, honestly, I would always try to cut lawns. So I was always a hustler. So I was cutting lawns. I did gutters on my street, cleaning out gutters. And then in the winter, that was my bread and butter. I would go just a shovel. and start shoveling driveways.
Right.
Which I was a wrestler, so that actually double profit for me. I was making a little bit of cash and then I'd lose weight. You know what I mean?
Were you like wearing the garbage bag?
Absolutely.
Underneath? I can tell. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make weight.
Yeah, sauna suit, garbage bags. Yep.
Oh, it's funny. So now throughout high school, you did odds and ends stuff. Now, did you go to college?
I did.
Okay.
So I was lucky enough where I was able to go to Fairleigh Dickinson University in Madison.
Now, did you have a career goal in mind to go to college, or you kind of just went?
So I knew fairly at a young age that I wanted to go into law enforcement of some aspect.
Okay.
I didn't really know exactly what, but whether it was going to be kind of like the state police level or federal level.
Right.
So I decided that I wanted to go into college, and I studied criminal justice and sociology.
Okay.
So I went to Fairleigh Dickinson in Madison, New Jersey, and
Did you do a 4-year?
yeah, 4-year bachelor degree.
Okay.
With a minor in criminal justice, and I took my first police test ever.
Right.
I graduated in May from college. I took my first test. I want to say it was June.
Right.
And I got hired in October, out of 100 people.
Wasted no time.
No time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Right off to the races. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's good. So now, would you say now looking back, because now you're 33?
Yeah.
So you did 4 years. So what were you, 21, 22 when you first?
I got hired at 23.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So nice and young.
Yep.
So now, would you say that a lot of things you learned in college help you with what you do today, or is it more? You can be honest.
No, yeah, I love this topic. Yeah. It comes up a lot, and I did go to college, so I did get a degree.
Right.
I would not.
That's a bad thing, but
right. I would not go back and change it, because of my situation. So a little backstory is my mother actually worked at Fairleigh Dickinson.
Oh, nice.
So I was able to get free tuition.
Okay.
I didn't have to take out student loans.
Right.
I did have friends and family members and stuff that did have to take out student loans. People that I know, people that I work with, they still have student loans.
Right.
So the way I look at things now is a lot of things have changed in this world, in the economy, and something like you do, the trade, nobody wants to do that.
Right.
And there is such a huge market for it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs work done.
Yeah.
And you can make a great living, probably better than what I make doing a regular job as a law enforcement officer.
You get out what you put in.
Right.
Right.
If you want to hustle,
you could do a trade and get minimal, or you could do a trade and work the extra like you do, and get the most out of it.
Right.
And that's just the way it goes. So it's just in any situation. Would you say that? Not to put you on the spot here.
No, absolutely.
Because I feel it's very much in the trades, but I also feel like I talk to a lot of doctors, lawyers, police officers, and I think the real concern is the accountability in every aspect of every job.
Yeah.
Because we've somehow grown accustomed to the fact of like, well, this is just the way it is, and we're going to have to accept it.
Right.
And I refuse to accept it because we've been accepting it for how long now?
Exactly.
So we want to change that. So do you notice that in like the police department? Like there's guys who probably are great police officers.
100%.
And then there's guys who just do the bare bone minimum, collect the check, and then go home.
Yeah, and I think that's in every industry, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And
well, my wife's a teacher, so it's the same thing there too.
Right.
There's great teachers and there's people who are just there for the check.
And you can't fault somebody for that. If it's their career.
Yes.
Right. So in any aspect, in any career, you have to do what you want to do with your own career, and you're gonna get out of it what you put in.
Right.
Like you just said.
Right.
So it's hard to push somebody in an industry like law enforcement if they didn't want to go out there and be proactive, because there's really no incentive. So you have to really find it in yourself that you want to be a public servant, that you want to help people. Yeah. And again, going back to me being so young and interacting, but I love talking to people. I love interacting with people. I drive all the time.
That's 99% of your job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Put a smile on somebody's face. And you know what? In my eyes, you made a difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Take a bad situation, turn it back good.
Right.
Awesome.
But I mean, if you want to be, like a negative Nancy and you want to drive around with the windows up and not talk to anybody and you want to hammer people, with summonses, I don't know, is that now there's a time and place, obviously you have to do your job, but is that necessarily the type of interaction that you want to have with the general public?
Right.
And that's not me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's good that you said that, because I used to do security at night.
Yeah.
At different nightclubs.
Yeah.
And you have, guys like me. I liked everybody. I talked to everybody. I made friends and relationships that I still carry to this day that
which is great.
Do business with me now.
Yeah.
And then you had guys who it really went to the head, the authority.
Yeah.
And then I would always tell them like, your shift ends at 4:00. Like, you want to be mean to that guy, he may be waiting for you in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it did happen to a few guys but it was, I don't want to say it's well deserved because I don't want to promote violence, but it wasn't unexpected. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like it's the same thing in every area. There's good and there's bad.
Of course.
Yeah. So now you started cop at 23, you're 30, so you're 10 years on the force.
Yeah, I'm in my 11th year. Yeah.
Wow. So that's awesome. Yeah. So
and
you made a lot of friends along the way.
Oh yeah. There's a ton of great people that you meet. Obviously, like I said, in any industry, but law enforcement. A lot of law enforcement. We all stick together, have each other's backs. You work with a lot of people that are family oriented, just the way I am.
Yeah.
And
it's a tough job right now being a police officer.
It is. Times have changed. It comes in waves.
Yeah.
But I still love the job.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I can go and make a difference in somebody's life, just putting a smile on a kid's face when he's walking into the school.
Right, exactly.
And, I take that type of stuff, to heart,
Yeah,
so.
no, it needs to be supported more. Police, I have a lot of friends and, I consider family that aren't, maybe they're not blood, but they're family to me.
Right.
I care about that. That's important.
Yeah.
And people need to have that respect. I think, you started losing that respect, but when it was respect lost there, but then it was across the board, respect was lost.
Right.
So that's what we're really trying to do is
bring that back.
Yes.
Right, of course.
It's just
how does that
morals? Yeah.
And how does that start? With us raising our kids the proper way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the most important thing that I see. So
100%.
No, that's great. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Okay.
All right. So you're a cop for 10 years. When did you start getting into the cigars and stuff? And who introduced it to you?
Right. So growing up my whole life, obviously, we all watch those.
Not that we promote it to kids under 18.
I do not promote the use of any type of tobacco,
Yes,
and I
okay.
say that all the time.
Yes, yeah.
But so growing up, we all watched different movies and those TV shows. You have
Right.
Sopranos, you have Scarface, and everything. So there was always this, and it's not that the guy is a tough guy because he smokes a cigar, but I've always noticed something, and I pointed it out to a couple of my buddies, and they're like, now that you say it, I understand.
Right.
If you watch those movies, what does cigars do? It brings everybody together.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the walk of life that you are. It doesn't matter who you are, if male, female, doesn't matter. When we sit down and we all have a cigar and we're smoking and we're relaxing and you're enjoying yourself, there's something therapeutic about it. And then you just shoot the shit. You just have a great conversation.
Yeah.
And I've met so many great people through cigars that I would have never met.
Right.
So that when I started like watching those videos and everything and growing up, and I always saw like, family events, all the guys are hanging out, passing around, or, sharing really good stories and stuff like that. And so it just always intrigued me. I started smoking cigars, and then
How old were you? You can say.
probably in high school.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah.
probably in high school.
Yeah.
I started really getting into the premium cigars right at the beginning to the end of college.
Okay.
And when I mean premium cigars, I mean like name brand. Romeo Juliet, Monte Cristo. All those. Rocky Patel was big back then. Still is, obviously, but that's when he kind of was making a name for himself.
Right.
And I fell in love with the whole aspect of it, and then I actually geek out a little bit, and I love to look at what goes into the development of cigars. Right. And it's a dying art, and a lot of people don't understand the time and effort that goes into not only growing the crop and making sure that it can be used in a cigar, but then also the whole blending process, which blows my mind. That I think is, again, I'm gonna geek out, but I think that is one of the coolest things.
Well, you're into it.
Right.
I mean, I would be into that too.
Right.
I just, a lot of times when I want to learn something, but now I have you, so you're my go-to guy.
That's right.
But when I smoked cigars when I was about 26, and I met my brother-in-law when I was about 30. That's when I met my wife. And not long after that, I got him into smoking cigars. Not that I pressured him in any way.
Right, yeah.
But he's one of those guys that, like, when I want to learn something, because I'm not a huge book reader, I'm more visual. I plant the seed to Uncle Matt, and Uncle Matt learns everything about it within a couple of days, and then he teaches me.
Oh, there you go.
So it's like
all
a
right.
beautiful thing.
You have a little guru.
So he's like a big cigar guy, but like you're real into it. You're making cigars. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how when did you start really delving into that?
Into actual cigar rolling. So I started rolling my own cigars about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And the way I kind of got into rolling my own cigar, I always wanted to take a class. And unless you go to certain places throughout the world that have cigar factories and stuff, you can't just drive down the street and go to, a cigar rolling class. Nobody has it.
Right.
So I did my research. I started watching videos, and I was like, you know what? I think it's something I could do. And I just wanted to do it as a hobby. So I purchased a couple different leaves through online websites and stuff, and then the equipment that I needed. And I just would sit in my garage, and I would just sit there for maybe an hour, smoke my cigar, put on a little bit of music, have a scotch, and just sit there and roll. And it was therapeutic again to me. Like, it was something to give, break up my time a little bit.
Right.
And
de-stress, because you probably get a lot of that on the job.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I tell everybody, this is my therapy. This in the gym is my therapy. It's my yoga, so to speak. And there's something about it that just completely takes the edge off.
Well, it forces you to sit and really, not that you can still text on your phone, but really force you to sit and be still for 45 minutes to an hour.
And be in the moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it really lets you like kind of decompress and think about just things in life, and the way I look at it is I reflect on it and I say, okay, not necessarily work related, but things that I was able to get done maybe that week or that day, things that I want to bring to the table, to get done, and then also about family, right? Making sure that, it gives you time to sit back and say, we're in a good place right now. We should be grateful for what we have and the health of everybody, and, kind of.
That's important. I try to glass half full.
Right.
You always want to be the glass half full guy.
Right.
I mean, sometimes you find yourself as like, should I wish this would be better? I wish that would be better. And then you talk to somebody who really has it hard.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
yep. It could always, and my saying is always could be worse.
Yeah.
You know.
So you would be more than fine. My phone's ringing.
Yeah, no problem.
You would be more than fine with just being a police officer, making a very good living. I'm sure your wife
Yeah.
works.
Stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. So you're providing a good living for your whole family, but you're taking it one step further. Now you find the love for the cigars at an early age. Now you start rolling them. When was the epiphany of like, yeah, I could make money doing this?
So that's a great question.
Yeah.
I like I said, I was sitting in my garage. I was rolling cigars, and I said to myself, I'm like, God damn, these are pretty fucking good. You know what I mean? So you realize that it's, holy shit, I might have something here.
Something.
Yeah. So being an entrepreneur, you know, I was like, you know what, let me start handing them out. So I started handing them out to cigar people that I knew, friends, families, uncles, and
give me your critiques.
Right.
What do you think?
And I would always say, oh, that's my cigar. Once I got the response from a lot of them that there's no fucking way you rolled this.
Yeah.
I knew I had something. Yeah. And that to me lit a light bulb in my head and said, okay, we're going to take this and we're going to run.
Right.
So I talked it over with my wife and I say, you know, I think I got something here, and she's 100% supportive. Awesome. I love her to death. We've been together since we were 16. Just a little, you know, throw that in there. But she's the best. She's 100% supportive, and she was like, yeah. She's like, you got the personality for it. You love talking to people. You love interacting. And she's like, you're good at what you do. So why wouldn't we try it? So
put yourself out there.
Right. Exactly. And you don't know unless you try.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. I put myself out there and started doing very small amounts of promotion through like Instagram and stuff. And
but now, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But what people, it's hard because to really put yourself out there, you're really putting yourself out there. There could be a lot of negative. There could be a lot of 100%. And you don't know, and then you have to be able to be okay with handling it.
Right.
So, like, did you get any negative feedback?
Oh my God.
You did?
Yeah.
Like, because I could see, like, in the cigar industry, you know, there's a lot of, I guess, know-it-alls, right? You know, and who's right and who's wrong, and there's a lot of, it's kind of like that in the plumbing business, but not so much on social media.
Right.
But I could see that happening. So you dealt with some of that. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And you had to get that respect.
Yeah, and I think I started to earn it once people realized that I wasn't just, I wasn't messing around.
Some asshole that just wants to make videos.
Right.
Yeah.
And to that point, I have a saying, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
And in my life and my experience with this business, I did that to a T. Funny story if we can go on a tangent. So I wanted to start this business once I knew that my wife and I, I'm like, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So I was driving around in a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Loved the car. One of my favorite cars I ever had. It was on my birthday, August 5th of 2 years ago. I literally drove my car. My wife didn't even know this. Right. I drove my car to the dealership down the street, told the guy at the front desk, I go, I don't want my car anymore. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I don't want it. And he goes, okay, what do you want me to do with it? I go, buy it out. I don't want it.
Right.
And he goes, is there something wrong with it? No. I go, okay, let me run the numbers and everything. He came back and he goes, yeah, we'll buy it, because that was the heat of COVID, so they needed used cars. I said, see you later. Took my license plates and I walked home on my birthday. My wife calls me. She's like, where are you? I go, I'm walking home. She goes, what happened? I was like, no, I'll tell you when I get home. Right. So I walk in the door and she's just looking at me. She's like, did I miss something? Like, right. And I said, no. I said, I have to learn to be uncomfortable. And the only way to do that and to get ahead in what we're trying to do right now is to take a step back financially. And I said, I don't want a car payment. There's no reason to have a car payment. So I said, I'm going to buy a used vehicle that looks like a piece of shit, which I did.
Right.
And I ended up buying a Chevy 2500, rusted completely out.
Right.
And I brought it home, and I was happier than shit.
Right.
Everybody else that saw my truck was like, what the fuck is he doing?
It doesn't matter.
Including friends, family, everybody. Now, flash forward, I now sold that truck. I actually made money on it, believe that or not. Yeah, I made money on it. I just bought a car through my company. And
through the cigar rolling company.
Yeah, and my company is established. So what did I do? I took my personal image and said, I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. People at work, I was pulling into a public place, you know, a police department in a beat up, rusted truck. Right. I mean, like, it was horrendous. I had pictures of it. People would laugh. Yeah. But I did it for a reason. And that was to better myself, to better my wife, to better my family, and to put us in a position where now I had enough money saved up.
Right.
It's no debt on my family, nothing out of pocket, so to speak, right? Obviously, it's my money, but nothing out of pocket. I didn't leverage our house.
Just time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So and that to me, and I tell everybody, get comfortable being uncomfortable, and don't give a fuck what other people's opinion is. Because if I did, I'll tell you right now, if I worried about other people's opinion, I would not be doing what I'm doing.
It's
hands down.
It's such a common theme with most people that I talk to that sit in that show.
Right.
Because if you go by what everybody says, you never take the risk. You know,
Never.
like even my own parents. I love my parents to death, but like I remember when I bought my second or my third truck.
Right.
They're like, "Whoa, you know,
what are you doing?
You better stop. Like you're gonna overextend.
Right.
You're gonna this and that." And then I have like salesmen, outside salesmen come in, like, you know, they become family. Like, yo, and this guy John Pecorello, who's since passed away, you know, but great guy.
Sorry to hear that.
He would always say, pull the reins in, and I'd be like, no, I know.
Yeah.
I think I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna take the risk. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. And you did the same thing, and like here you are.
Right.
So
and you know, look how successful you are, right? And that's because you took those risks.
But we're still continuing to take risks. Like that
100%.
risk doesn't stop. Like,
no.
You know, this all looks well and good, but like, you know, it's a constant struggle in business. You know? Right now, it's a 60-degree winter. You think that's good for the heating business?
No.
No.
Right.
So it's, once again, we're uncomfortable.
Right.
But now when you're uncomfortable, you realize and you're grateful for when you are busy. Because what happens in business is people get they start to build up momentum and then they get cocky.
Yeah.
And then they start treating people improper. And then when it's slow, those people aren't around anymore to help them, and you lose it. So you have to treat everyone the same at all times, whether you're real busy raking in the dough or you're real slow.
Right.
And if you do that, you have a business.
And that should never change. That should stay consistent.
It should be a constant.
Right.
Yep, and that's the way it goes. Same thing working out. You said you have to be okay with being uncomfortable. How does a muscle grow? You're into muscles.
Yeah.
You know, you're into working out.
Yeah.
You separate the muscle on every workout, and then it grows back bigger.
Right.
It hurts.
And you have to push yourself through those tough times.
It's painful. You're sore the next day, but you get more healthy, you get bigger, you grow muscle.
Right.
That's how it goes. So all these analogies are like so simple and easy to discuss, and they seem so like just common sense.
Right.
But not everyone really wraps their head around it.
Yeah, and it is common sense, but I think what holds people back in today's society is being questioned and having that, really, dude, you're 33 years old, you're making TikToks? Yeah, motherfucker, I'm making more money on TikTok right now than I am, you know, than I would be doing anything else. If I put up a billboard on a major highway, I'm going to get more people to see my TikTok and get phone calls and leads to that than a billboard.
We're having this conversation because of it. I wanted
100%
for TikTok, and I only got on TikTok a month ago.
Yeah, right.
So I've been sleeping on the whole thing. Like, so we've been doing, you know, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But you know, I saw, you know, I'm like, this guy's awesome. I'm like,
thank you.
And like I said, I went at him, and I tell tell everybody, because I mentor some kids in local high school.
Yeah, yeah.
And I tell them you have to be okay taking a risk and trying to have a conversation with someone with the maybe possibility of them saying or not answering or saying like, no, I'm not interested.
Right.
So I reached out to you. Hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. You were interested, and here we are.
Yeah.
So just like that.
And honestly, why wouldn't I take this opportunity?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was, you know, we were just talking before. There's been times, again, with my cigar business that I've put myself in uncomfortable positions that I was like, I don't know, should I go to this event? Should I go do that? And next thing I know, I have lifelong friends. It opened up huge doors of networking that I would have never even known that, you know, well, if I wasn't at, here's a story. So I went and did an event. Some guy from Europe reached out to me and said, I'm hosting a very luxury style event at an airport. Okay. And my wife and I tossed around the idea, and I was like, there's going to be Maseratis, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, like there's a ton of stuff there.
Those guys spend money on cigars.
Right.
Yeah.
Private planes. Yeah. They did at airport because it was private, like these people that I'm referring to, the customers that this guy had coming, had money where they are actually charter jets for the year, that type of, so they were all planes lined up.
Right.
I was there, and I was like, you know what, let's do it. So I was there, and a guy that I reached out to, who now is a very good friend of mine, happened to walk by. We made eye contact, and he goes, oh, Joe. He's like, you reached out to me on Instagram and TikTok. I go, yeah, Tony, how are you? Now, he owns a very, very successful media company. So next thing you know, we're exchanging phone numbers. It was great meeting you. Now we have conversation. I actually go out to him in New York and we start doing videos together.
Nice.
Now, it's just networking 101.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, again, going back to it, if I didn't take that opportunity to pick up that phone call and tell the guy from England, you know what? Yeah, I'll come this year.
Right.
And maybe next year I don't do it.
Right.
But that one time, I put myself in a very uncomfortable position because I don't know anybody at this event.
Right.
And do I even belong there? I'm a cigar guy. Why
not?
Why not?
That's what you have to say.
Exactly.
Why don't I belong here?
Right.
I was talking to a friend of mine on Saturday night. He's a contractor, does a lot of state work.
Yeah.
I became close to him because where I dock my boat, he's right behind me. His name is George. He's going to come on and do a podcast too. But he explained to me, because we had a charity dinner on Saturday for a buddy of mine who owns a plumbing company.
Oh, nice.
It all goes full circle.
Yeah.
So, and he was saying to me, he goes, you know what? He goes, my wife said to me one day, because I would go into these charities and would kind of go with my head down. Now, he's a big guy. And you're kind of going my head down as if like I didn't belong there. And he said, my wife came to me and said, you know what? You need to walk in that room as if you
own it.
in there, and you're supposed to be there. And he goes, and as soon as I started doing it, all clicked.
Yep.
He goes, I just your presence and how you carry yourself attracted people to me. And he said, I started getting bids and I started getting business, and that's just how it goes. So it's really perception of yourself first.
Yeah, 100%.
And then that's how people will perceive you.
Right.
And it's that simple of a lesson. You just got to have the confidence and the.
You have to believe in yourself.
Do it, I guess. You know.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you have to believe in yourself.
Yep. So that's awesome. I love your story. It's so cool.
Yep.
So now with the TikTok, like you're basically doing a video a day.
I'm at least two, minimum of two. Yeah.
And you do the live smoke a cigar with Joey.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so cool.
And then
I try to watch it, but it's
yeah. You're busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do live. Some people want me to go on and just smoke a cigar and shoot the shit. You know,
ask questions.
Right.
I love it. It's so cool.
And then other people want me to go on and roll cigars live.
That would be cool.
That's pretty cool. I've done that a couple times. And next thing you know, I
set the camera up on you
Yep.
so you're rolling.
Yeah, and then I'll actually sell the cigars that I'm rolling. So it's like if you place an order while I'm rolling,
right.
I'm only rolling 50 cigars, today. If you want these orders, and the next thing you know, I have, orders coming in, which is great because I love all my supporters and everything. So
now let me ask, where you started with rolling a cigar, how long did it take you when you started, and how long does it take you now?
To make a complete cigar?
To make a complete cigar.
When I first started in my garage, you would have thought it was like a crime scene out there. Like I had tobacco leaves everywhere. I was like spray bottles. Am I doing this right? And then, like anything, you get more comfortable doing it.
Right.
More, all right, maybe I should try this. There's all like tricks of the trade as far as, if you're rolling outside, there's wind.
Right.
So what do you do with wind? Mm-hmm. Now your leaf is blowing away. There's different things. You utilize different tools, different ways. You know what I mean? So
you find out a lot of ways on how not to roll the cigar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you? Because it's a lot of time in rolling the cigar.
Yeah, and that's a question I get all the time. So pretty much my mold tray, which is where after you bunch and bind the filler and the binder wrapper, you put it in a mold and then press it. It sits in there for about 15 minutes on each side. And then, and in like a vice grip, and then once it's pressed, it actually shapes it and everything, and then I can apply the final wrapper. So in that tray, I have 10 cigars that are technically going to be pressed. Back when I first started, it would probably take me about an hour to complete a whole entire cigar.
Oh, wow.
Now, if I'm sitting at my house and I'm literally doing it for leisure and I just want to get a couple cigars rolled, have a scotch, and I'm smoking a cigar and I'm talking, I don't care how long it takes. But if I'm sitting down and I have a job to do, I need to get these cigars made because I have an upcoming event or something like that, I could pretty much roll 10 cigars complete in probably about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time.
Yeah.
But, it's
your passion.
Right. And if I set everything up where the leaves are prepped, and when I say that, prepped meaning like they're rehydrated, right? So all the leaves are ready to go. So if I sit down at the table and everything's ready, it's even quicker.
Okay.
But there's a lot that goes into prepping the leaves, making sure they're ready. Okay, is my vegetable gum, which is the glue that I use, is that ready to go? Like all that stuff. If all that's ready, even quicker.
Because you care about your product.
Well, that's a thing.
Now, the cigars that you make when you have to make them or under the gun for an order, as opposed to the cigars you make at your leisure, do you notice a taste difference or a product?
No, because I love being under pressure.
Okay.
I love, and that's one thing. Like even through sports and everything, I was always the type of person that like yeah, we need to get a hit right here.
The ball.
Coach, put me in.
Yeah.
And I look at things. I always refer to everything in life as sports, sports oriented, and
we learn a lot of future mindset from
100%
respect and
discipline,
camaraderie. I don't ever say that right, but relationships with who you're playing with,
Yeah.
the team, and it's very important. I coach my son's football.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm still not out of it yet.
Yeah.
So
You'll never be out of it.
No.
Yeah.
And
which is great.
We still have friends that you played ball with, or you see,
Right.
or if you haven't seen in a long time, I used to play football with this guy, I used to play baseball with that guy. So
Yeah.
it's important.
It's very important.
So.
And you take those lessons that you learn at a young age, hopefully, and you instill those into your life. I'm sure you instill a lot of stuff. You wouldn't be this successful and have everything that you have if you had no discipline or if you didn't have time management. How do you learn that? Well, you don't just show up to practice an hour late and just say, coach, I'm here. No, there's a repercussion for that, right?
Yeah.
Well, same thing. Guys get to work at 7 o'clock. So you have to lead by example too.
Yeah.
So otherwise your guys aren't going to follow you.
My wife always bust my chops for that because my son, he's my stepson, but he's my son.
Yeah.
Colton. So he's been my stepson since a year and 4 months.
That's awesome.
But like he's 9 now, so like he knows that like if we have to be at the field at 5, that means we're in the truck at 4:30.
Yeah.
The field's 10-15 minutes away, and we're ready to work at 5.
100%.
If it's at whatever it is. So and he knows that, and it's almost like he has a little bit of anxiety about it, but you almost need that a little bit because I still have anxiety. This I'm 38 years old. Like I have anxiety. Like I got to be on time, but it's important to have that. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't worry. No, you should have a little.
No, there should be urgency.
Nothing where it's to the point where it's unhealthy, but
Right.
you should have some sort of anxiety to say, I got to be here at this time because it's important that I set an example.
Right.
And everything's set by example and lead by example and whatever else.
100%.
Yeah, so it's good. But I mean, that's such a cool story. So now with the TikTok, you post 1 to 2 videos a day.
Yep.
You get a tremendous amount of likes.
Yeah. We're doing pretty well right now.
You're doing very well on it.
Right.
Do you promote it at all, or it's more?
So I've never once put a penny into paid ads or anything like that.
Because how many followers are you up to now?
So right now, I think we're at 23,300 right now. Yeah, and less than a month ago, we were at 13,000. So I'm averaging right now anywhere between probably about 1,500 to 3,000 depending on what I do. If I do lives, I get more followers coming on. But about that number in about a week.
That's awesome.
So it's just a grind, You got
how many likes you're up to? You're up to.
I'm over 500K, which I think I'm at like 550K, something like that.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That's awesome.
And again, like I say this, all my friends, like I'm bubbly, I'm outgoing, I love, talking to people, but when you get in front of a camera and you put yourself out there, like we were saying before, you're going to get a lot of negative, right? And I have gotten that. And the way I deal with that, and I've told this to a lot of other people that might have businesses that want to start using TikTok or Instagram or some type of social media, put themselves out there, kill them with kindness. You know what I mean? And listen, if somebody is going onto a social media platform and they are throwing so much shade and negativity when you're trying to just promote positivity, there's something going on internally with them. And I actually feel for them. And I will actually, my wife thinks it's hysterical because I will actually comment back to that person and say, listen, I understand you might be going through something. I'll actually put myself out there and say, reach out to me. I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to like me. You want to say that I look like shit or my hair looks crazy or, I shouldn't be smoking a cigar. That's fine. But there's obviously something that internally that you're fighting or and I'll put myself out and I'll actually say, reach out to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And next thing you know, the comment comes down, I get a follow. And then I've actually had somebody reach out to me and say, hey, bro, so sorry about that comment. You seem like a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah.
So
awesome. I do the same thing. And then like I'll invite them to come into the office.
Yeah.
And then usually when I invite them, they delete it.
Right, of course.
We don't get a lot of it, thank God.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of it, because they're all the competitors and stuff like that.
Right.
But we really don't. But like, people write comments on my eyebrows and stuff like that. But I kill them with kindness.
I get that all the time.
Like
right.
it's just the way it is. And they almost when you come back and like you're nice to them, they're like,
wait, what? Right.
Like what? But it's like it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you end up making friends with somebody, or you take a situation where like they're basically being ignorant,
right?
And they're assuming something when half the times they didn't listen to the whole thing. So now if you listen to it, now talk to me,
right?
And then it's like, oh, all right, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're not stupid people. We wouldn't put
No.
something out there that would be to the point where people are
Right.
gonna be like, "Oh, you're wrong. You can't do that." Like we know our social media presence. We know what to say, what not to say.
Right. And I would never put anything out there, and I'm sure you're the same way.
Yeah.
I would never put anything out there that is derogatory or that would hurt somebody in any way or
Right.
promote anything that's negative. I would never do that. That's not who I am, and
With social media or not, I would never do that either.
Right.
'Cause how many? I mean, there's been plenty of times where you could technically write a negative review about something. I've never in my life written
never.
a negative review.
Yeah.
Never ever, because one, I wouldn't want it done written to me. I'd rather speak to the owner and be like, "Hey, listen, this happened. I just want you to be aware." And then it's on the owner to fix it.
Right.
A lot of people go straight to, "I'm going to comment, I'm going to write a review." No one speaks to the owner. And a lot of times, if it's a good owner, all they want is they want the feedback.
Right.
Because if they don't have the feedback, they can't fix a problem they don't know.
Exactly.
And I constantly tell people that, like, don't feel bad or don't feel funny reaching out to me. And you have to make yourself very available. So I tell people you can reach me on Facebook, email, or a lot of people have my cell phone. I mean, it's listed on a lot of Google sites.
Right.
Call my cell phone, text me, let me know what's going on, and then let me address it. If I don't address it after that, then I'm a dick.
Now it's your problem.
Then you can call me a dick.
Right.
100%. But if you come to me a problem and I address it and I make you happy,
right.
That's what's a business.
And how has that worked for you?
Awesome.
Right.
We've been in business for almost 17 years now. I have customers that I've had, because we started doing, 6 months before I incorporated the company, we did side work, to be able to be okay.
Build yourself up.
Yes. So not that I'm for side work, but because, if you do it for a couple months and then start a business, that's one thing. But there's guys that have been doing side work for 20 years.
Of course.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
But, if you do the right thing, like I said, I have customers that have been with me for 18 years. I have customers that I've lost that have passed away. I have customers that have moved away. And then the customers that move away, they write a whole list of the guys they use for the new customers.
Right.
New homeowners. And then they're calling me saying, "Oh, so-and-so, I bought so-and-so's house and they said I have to use you." That feels good.
Right.
That makes the whole business thing worthwhile. I mean, the money thing, it's money in and money out. It's constantly money in, money out. And, when you have more overhead and different bills and stuff like that, it's more that case. But, that relationship with the customer, seeing the customer in the supermarket, and them saying hello to you, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." Like, we get a lot of that. Like, it's because I was a kid when I started. I was 21.
Right.
So, kids, people have literally seen me from become a kid
and grow,
to get married, to have kids of my own.
Right.
And now my kids getting older, and they're like, to have someone reach out and say that I'm so proud of you, that means
awesome,
everything to me.
Yeah.
I had two guys today. One was he used to own oil company in Bethpage, Greco Brothers.
Okay.
Mike Greco. And then I had this other guy, Steven Rigliano. He was in charge of all vendor relations for Petro, which is a tremendous company.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're in Jersey. I think they are.
I think they are, yeah.
So, they're guys that kind of took me under their wing over the years, and they've since retired, and they're both sold their houses. One's moving to Florida, one's moving to Texas. They sent me a selfie. Jeff, we should probably put it up. I was going to put it up today regardless. He sent me a selfie of the two of them. I think Steve, I don't know what he was drinking, but Mike likes scotch.
Yeah.
And their arms around each other, and they're just taking pictures. Just sends me the picture out of nowhere today. "Hey, I hope all's well."
Oh,
so
great.
just mentors reaching back and checking on me. I know I'm doing the right thing. If they care about what I'm doing, and they're happy to see me successful.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have that with family and friends and
yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's like you said before, right? You said you were going out buying an extra truck, and your family might have been like, "Oh, you're kind of extending yourself." That's family, right? They're worried about you. They want the best for you.
Yeah, they don't.
But once they start realizing, "Oh, okay, he's got a goal. He's ambitious.
Right.
He's running after it, and he's got a good head on his shoulders." Then that's when you start feeling that support, right? And you start realizing you are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's a huge mental boost.
Yeah.
And says, okay.
It just takes a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep running with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's awesome. That's awesome.
Now, your cigar rolling, does that like your bosses at the police force, they must love it, right? Are they cigar guys? Are they like...
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of cigar guys on my police department, but I do.
That's tremendous networking, you're hanging out having cigars with the chief or stuff like that.
So I definitely, I've given a bunch of cigars to, a bunch of people.
They must have outings, right? Like,
So yeah, I've done a ton of PBA and fire department outings and stuff. Fort Lee, who's a huge fire department,
Okay.
they're great to me.
Yeah.
And I hope they think I'm great to them because I take care of them big time.
Right.
And we've had great experiences and top Eatontown PBA did a huge event down there, which was phenomenal. That was a great event.
Right.
And just a bunch of other. That's my biggest thing. East Hanover PBA. I know I'm naming a bunch of names you probably don't even know, but
no, but it's important,
right,
because people are listening.
Right, right, and so. That's the thing that I love is once you start doing it, it's your reputation, right? Yeah. Once you start doing it, and the person's like, "Wow, he did a great job. He killed it for us," And my thing is, I'm not looking to try to make money on a charity or a PBA, and I tell everybody that.
So you get your name out there.
I just want to get my name out there.
Right.
Let me break even, for my cost of my product. Most likely, I'll probably give a donation on top of that anyway.
Yes.
But my thing is, if we're coming there and I have a couple guys with me or whatever we have to do, just right. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you another question. You obviously, I probably already know the answer to this. You probably have either a vision board or a vision mindset where you have all the things.
Yep.
Like, I don't ever really write it down, but I have it in my head all the time. Where do you see yourself with this growing? Where do you? Because the next problem is like in any business, you're so passionate, you're so good at what you do it such a great way. How do you replicate that when you build a team and have them have the same vision, have same drive?
Yeah. So I love that question because that's actually we're at that point.
It's probably a worry already of yours, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I coached wrestling,
right,
and I had a wrestler that was always great. We had a great relationship, and I know the family for years. I was young and I knew the family. And I reached out to him and said, "Listen, I this is what I'm doing. My business is growing rapidly. I need people to help out. I know you're not like a cigar guy like me, as far as he smokes cigars, but I'm a little like I'm into it, right? Like I'm knowledge wise and everything. I really love it." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You were always good to me, and let's do it."
Yeah, why not?
So my biggest thing, and I tell everybody, I want to run it like a family. Yeah. There's no beef between us. If there's a problem, we talk about it. And my wife is on the same thing. So anybody that is on my team right now, they have my number, they have my wife's number, and if I'm tied up doing something, whether I'm with the family or at work or this and that, they can reach out to my wife, and she's amazing. She handles it. But right now, I have one steady guy. I wouldn't say steady, right? So I don't have employees, so to speak.
But you have
I have guys. Yes,
right? As a job comes
yeah, like a contractor almost, because I don't have steady work where I'm working. They're working a 40-hour work week, 8 to 4, but he helps me when I need it. So if I can't make an event or this and that, which now we're starting where we're double booking days and stuff like that, or triple booking days. I'm booking stuff out into 2024 already.
Right.
So his name is Thomas. He's been excellent. And that's the thing I always try to push was try to have the same passion as me, which you don't find many people like this, but he goes, "It represents you and your family." Of course I will. Right. And I think the connection of me coaching him and him knowing that I'm a good guy, that, I have kids that I want to eventually leave this business to down the road probably.
Yeah.
He understands it.
Right.
And I'm very good to my guys that are helping me out, and I'm going to take care of you.
Right.
So I made sure that in multiple different ways, you know what I mean?
You don't strike me as a greedy person.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you flat out, if you want to come on, you want to learn how to roll cigars, I'll tell you flat out, I don't care about spending money, and I don't care about paying you what I think is reasonable.
Right.
And I pay very well.
Right.
My thing is be loyal to me.
Yeah.
And treat me well, because this affects
be appreciative.
Right. This directly affects my family. But everybody that's involved, I want to grow with the business. And that goes into what you were saying. Where do you see the business going?
Yeah.
I have huge, huge dreams and goals that
hopefully we'll be doing that cigar lounge together.
Exactly.
Yeah. We already talked about that.
Yes. And I was going to bring that up to you.
Yeah.
I think that, you have that aspect.
Yeah.
Oh, I already got a spot.
Oh, you do? Oh.
But
is it on the water?
It's not on the water, but there's other reasons why it's a great spot.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
But you open up a couple of them,
Take
and
a
then
risk.
you,
Yeah.
you start a chain or
Why the hell
a
not?
franchise
Yeah.
type style.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I have so many ideas. I don't even
Yeah.
want to say it on camera because
Right, exactly. Yeah,
And we'll talk afterwards.
That was going on in my head. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I should say it.
Yeah, no, we'll
But-
keep some to when it's ready. We'll put it out there.
My biggest thing with talking about goals, right, is when you talk about it, nobody understands your goals like you.
Right.
Because you know what you're capable of.
Right.
And when you put your goal out there, a lot of times it's immediately shot down.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't do that. There's no way you're going to do that.
Right.
If you think like that and you talk to people and give them that ammo to shoot you down, you better have some thick skin. Otherwise, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Right?
But at the same time, when you put it out there, you're making yourself accountable. Like
You are.
Hey, I just put this out there. Now I better fulfill.
Right.
Like we put a post up a year ago, maybe more, of discussing, what's going on with the trades and kids not getting in the trades. And, and I said, I put my idea out there and it got like a ton of likes and stuff on Facebook and comments and
Right.
we need this and blah, blah, blah. And like, a lot of people probably think I was like blowing smoke and just trying to whatever. But you know what? We went through all the proper channels. We sat down with the accountant, my wife and brother-in-law, and we sat down. They did a lot of it because I'm not a good paperwork person.
Yeah.
They know like what to protect, whatever. But I'm more of like the idea and like the connections and whatever else. They sat at my kitchen table for hours filling out paperwork to become a charitable organization.
Which is
we
awesome.
sent it out. It took like 7 months. We just got the letter back Monday.
Awesome.
That
Congratulations.
We are authorized to be a charitable donation, charitable organization, and we're gonna probably start working on, our first fundraiser and stuff like that. But like,
Hopefully it's a cigar.
putting it out. Oh, well, absolutely. Well, I was telling you.
Yeah.
You do it, you'll be there.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't mind driving from Jersey.
I don't mind.
So, but you put it out there. It makes yourself accountable because like whoever shoots it down.
Right.
Not that you really. My wife says it's bad to have that kind of motivation. It's almost when people doubt you, it motivates me more though.
Right. It does.
It's just the way I'm wired.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say that that's unhealthy.
Well, you want to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's normal. Some
It
people
is.
don't see
That's
it that way.
it's
It's a bad psychological thing. But all right, you're going to doubt me? Now I'm going to shove it up your
Right.
ass.
Right.
I don't know if I can say that, Jeff. But
No, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So like now, okay, doubt me now.
Right.
And that's the mentality you have to have. And, you have that mentality. And
Right.
It's good. And then you surround yourself with people with that mentality and it's a
Right.
good network group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple people in my corner that don't they're not involved, so to speak. But I'll just pick up a phone and these are people that I've been friends with since I was little. And I'll tell them what I'm doing. And and they're like, "Joe, I saw your post the other day, you're killing it."
Yeah.
And even if it's not, even if they're always, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude,
Not
I'm
every
trying."
post is going to be great.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm trying, man. I'm hustling. He goes, no. You're not trying. You're doing.
Yeah.
Everybody else that's sitting home and not doing anything, they think they're trying. You're actually doing.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have people like that in your corner. They're not looking for anything.
No.
Nothing.
No.
And they're just true friends or true family members that really support you and love what you're doing and want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
And you have that with your wife and your brother-in-law and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You can't
well,
replace
that web's
that.
huge. I'm sure
Right.
it's big for you.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I said, like the two guys, the one guy to reach out to me this morning, like, he's in Texas.
Right.
He doesn't have to reach out to me.
Right.
But like you build that relationship. That's so important that you have that.
Yeah.
That comes first. Then you could build what you have to.
Yeah.
Do.
And people realize those connections, though.
Yeah.
They see that, all right, he's got all these connections, he's surrounded by good people. He must be a really good person. Right. And now what does that lead to? More business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all relative. So
Right.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.